In this video, I'm going to talk about when and how to use reported speech. One example of the use of reported speech is to explain my understanding of what I read. Sometimes you'll do this in a reading discussion, or maybe when you're writing a summary of what you read. When we read, we often draw conclusions based on what characters say. So in chapter 2 of Walk Two Moons, there is no place where Sal says exactly how Graham and Gramps feel about taking the road trip. But she tells us what they say about it, and from that, I can make the conclusion about their feelings. So if someone asks me, how did Graham and Gramps feel about going on the road trip? I would say they were excited and enthusiastic. And say, well, how do you know? And I could say, well, I know that they were excited and enthusiastic about going on the road trip because Gramps said they would see the whole Ding Dong country, and Graham said this trip would give her a chance to be with her favorite chickabiddy again. In this part of my answer, I am reporting what Graham and Gramps said. And by reporting, I mean I'm just stating what they said. I'm not quoting them directly. A direct quote would look like this. Gramps said, "We'll see the whole Ding Dong country." That's a direct quote. If I report what Gramps said, you'll notice that it looks very different. And let's talk about those differences to understand the grammar of reported speech. When you directly quote what someone said, and this is the way it was presented in chapter 2, Gramps said, comma, quotation mark, and then the exact words that were said at that time follow. So quotation mark, we'll see the whole Ding Dong country, exclamation point, quotation mark. These were Gramps' exact words. When I report what Gramps said, it looks different. Notice those differences. First, you'll see that there is no comma, there's no quotation marks, and even the exclamation point is gone because it's not his voice anymore. So here you can see that all of that punctuation is gone, except for I kept quotation marks around ding dong because those are special words that Gramp created, and so I have to show that those were his exact words because those are special words that are not words that most people use to describe the whole country. Okay, so that's the first difference. Now let's look at the second difference. Here, Gramps says, we will see the whole Ding Dong country, but when I report what he said, I change the pronoun to they. Because Gramps can say we, because we means himself included, but when I say what he said, I use they, meaning Gramps and those people, but I'm not included, I'm just reporting what they said. So you notice the first thing is the pronoun will change. Okay, second, you'll notice that the verb tense changed. So here we have we'll see, right? Which really means I'm just learning to use this. We will see the whole Ding Dong country. But down here, you see it says, Gramps said they would see. So as you know, we will see means future, right? Will is the modal that we attach to the verb see in its base form to show a future meaning. The past modal is would. We change it. He said they would see. Now that's past. Okay, so two changes, the pronoun and the verb tense. Let's look at another example from Graham Graham said, comma, quotation mark, exact words. This trip will give me a chance to be with my favorite chickabiddy again. Okay, now, again, we're going to make some changes when we report what Graham said. First change is no punctuation with a comma, the quotation mark, all of that is gone. You can see that down here. And we have Graham said, now here it's this trip, because so at that time she meant the trip that she was about to go on. But we were talking about the trip in general. So here I changed it from this trip to the trip because now we're talking about it at a different time. It's not this one now. So that's the first change. Okay, now do you see the second change? The second change, again, is with the verb tense. The verb here is will give, but the verb here is would give. So here, Graham meant this trip coming in the future, and I'm saying the trip in the past. Okay, next difference. Look here. Graham is talking about herself. This trip will give me. But when I'm reporting about Graham, I change it to her because I'm talking about her, not myself. And can you find another place where that pronoun has to change? This trip will give me a chance to be with my favorite chickabiddy. Again, I have to change that because I'm talking about Graham and what she said. So I change that to her favorite chickabiddy again. So again, you notice that there are two kinds of changes. In both cases, we change the verb tense, will see, to would see. Will give changes to would give when I report it. Right? That's the verb changes. And we'll see also that the pronouns change from we to they, and me to her, and my to her. The possessive pronoun here, my, changes to her. Okay, so when you are writing about and talking about your ideas about what you read, be sure when you are reporting what the characters say that you pay attention to the grammar of reported speech and that you make the changes in the verb tense and pronouns when you report what they said.